It started with loneliness. Not the modern kind of loneliness where you are sitting in a room full of people staring at your phone, feeling disconnected from humanity, while technically surrounded by other humans who are also staring at their phones, feeling disconnected from humanity. The ancient kind. The kind where you are sitting in a cave with 12 people you have known your entire life, and you would very much like to meet someone new. But the nearest tribe is a 2-day walk, and also there is a river between you and them. And the last person who tried to cross that river came back with a spear injury and a story nobody fully believed. Ancient humans had a dating problem. The tribe was too small. Everyone already knew everything about everyone. You could not make a good first impression on someone who watched you fall into the river 3 separate times last Tuesday. Not 3 times in your life, 3 times last Tuesday. You could not present your best self to someone who has seen your worst self, and your medium self, and your Tuesday self, which is a specific category of self that nobody wants anyone to see. Something had to be done. And then, one ancient human had an idea.
He picked up a flat piece of bark. He drew his face on it. He drew it significantly better than his face actually looks. His jawline in the bark drawing has a definition that his actual jawline does not possess and has never possessed. His shoulders in the bark drawing communicate a level of physical competence that his actual shoulders have not achieved. His overall presentation in the bark drawing is the presentation of a person who regularly catches large, healthy mammoths, when his actual mammoth count this season is 2, and one of them was already limping when he found it. He did not include this information on the profile. He also drew his best kill beside his face. The kill in the drawing is enormous, a magnificent beast, a beast of considerable size and obvious health. The actual kill it is based on was the limping one. He made it bigger. He made it healthier. He gave it an extra tusk for gravitas. He does not know what gravitas means because language does not exist. He added the extra tusk anyway. He propped the bark against a rock near the main trail where people walk past. He tidied his hair. He went behind a tree. He waited.
Tinder has been invented. Nobody is happy about this yet. That comes later. Some of it never comes. The profile in the ancient world is a piece of bark leaning against a rock containing exactly 3 pieces of information. A drawing of your face, which looks better than your face. A drawing of your best kill, which looks better than your best kill. And a handprint. Because everyone puts a handprint and nobody knows why, and at this point it would be weird not to include a handprint, so the handprint stays. Every single profile has a handprint. Nobody has ever been attracted to someone specifically because of their handprint. The handprint continues. The bio does not exist because language does not exist. This is an improvement on modern Tinder, where the bio exists and contains the information, "I like to laugh," and "my friends would describe me as," and then something that is technically 3 sentences but communicates nothing except that the person owns a dog and has been to 1 country. The ancient handprint is more informative. The ancient handprint at least confirms you are present. Swiping in the ancient world is physical. You walk past the bark profile. If you are interested, you pick it up and move it closer to your cave. If you are not interested, you push it over. That is left swipe. You push the bark over with one hand and walk away. The profile falls to the ground. The person who made it watches this happen from behind a tree and has to wait until the area is clear before they can walk over and pick it up and prop it back against the rock and adjust the jawline drawing slightly upward and go back behind the tree and wait again. The first left swipe in human history happens 4 minutes after the first profile goes up. 4 minutes! The ancient human watches from behind the tree as someone walks past, looks at the bark drawing for 2 seconds, makes a small sound that is not a positive sound, and pushes it over without breaking stride. He watches it fall. The bark makes a small sound when it hits the ground, a very quiet sound. It is the quietest sound in the world, and somehow also the loudest sound he has ever heard.
He waits until the person is gone. He walks over, he props it back, he adjusts the jawline, he adds more definition to the mammoth. He goes back behind the tree. He has been on Tinder for 11 minutes and he has already edited his profile twice. Right swipe requires physical commitment because you have to pick up someone's bark profile and carry it with you. Bark is heavy. Carrying bark is not a casual decision. The walk back to your cave takes significant effort. You cannot swipe right on everyone in the ancient world. You must be genuinely interested because your arms will know if you are not. Your arms will remind you for the entire walk home that you are carrying bark for someone you have never met, and you chose to do this with your afternoon. This is the one thing ancient Tinder had over modern Tinder. physical consequences. Swipe right on the wrong person and you carry bark for 2 days. Nobody swiped right carelessly in the ancient world. Nobody swiped right drunk at midnight on ancient Tinder because carrying bark while drunk is a logistical challenge that naturally reduces impulsive decision-making.
The first match in human history happens when two ancient humans both pick up each other's bark profiles at the same time without knowing the other person is doing the same thing. They arrive at the same neutral rock to introduce themselves. They are both holding a piece of bark with the other person's face drawn on it. They look at the bark, they look at each other, they look at the bark, they look at each other, they look at the bark one more time because maybe the bark will provide some guidance on what to do next. The bark provides no guidance. They sit down on a flat rock. This is the first date in human history. Two ancient humans sitting across from each other on a flat rock near a watering hole with absolutely nothing to say to each other, because language does not exist, and also because even when language does exist, humans will still have absolutely nothing to say to each other on first dates, which is a problem that has been extensively studied and never solved. One of them makes a sound, the other makes a different sound back. Nobody knows what either sound means. Both nod as if they understood. One makes another sound, the other nods again. They are nodding at sounds they do not understand, and the other person is nodding at sounds they do not understand. And somehow, this is the entire first date. It lasts 40 minutes and feels like 6 hours. They both go home. They both think it went fine. Neither of them knows if it went fine. Neither of them will ever know if it went fine. Modern Tinder users will recognize every moment of this. The first opening message in human history is a grunt. Not a long grunt, not a carefully considered grunt with multiple drafts. A single grunt, sent immediately because he could not think of anything better, and waiting made it worse, and he needed to do something before he lost his nerve entirely. He walks to her cave the next morning. He stands at the entrance. He grunts. It is meant to be friendly. It is meant to say, I am interested, and I am warm, and I have potential, and I am not the kind of person who has fallen into a river 3 times in one Tuesday. The grunt communicates none of these things. The grunt communicates that he is there, and he is making a sound. She looks at him. He grunts again slightly differently, because maybe the variation will clarify his intentions. The variation does not clarify his intentions. She makes a polite sound. She goes back inside. He stands at the cave entrance for a moment longer than is comfortable. He grunts one final time, very quietly. Nobody hears this final grunt. He walks away. He has been left on red. In the ancient world, being left on red means someone literally walked away from you while you were still standing there, which is significantly more demoralizing than the modern version. And the modern version is already one of the most demoralizing experiences available to a human being in the 21st century. He rewrites the opening grunt in his head on the walk home. He thinks of 17 better grunts. They are excellent grunts. He will never use any of them, because the moment has passed, and the moment can never be recreated. And this is the specific torture of being left on red in any era. Super-like in the ancient world is when you carry someone's bark profile personally all the way to their cave to return it to them. This is a 2-day walk. When you arrive, the recipient looks at you. They look at the bark. They look at the 2-day walk distance between your tribes. They understand immediately that this is not a casual gesture. This is a person who carried bark for 2 days. This is a person with very strong feelings. The feelings are so strong, they carried bark for 2 days.
The recipient gives a polite but firm grunt and closes the cave. The sender walked 2 days. He now walks 2 days back. He carries the bark with him because he does not know what else to do with it. He props it back against his rock when he gets home. He adjusts the jawline drawing slightly. He goes behind the tree. He waits. The algorithm in the ancient world matches you with whoever lives closest. This sounds efficient. It is not efficient. Closest does not mean compatible. Closest means geographically nearest, regardless of anything else. Whether you share values, whether you share interests, whether you have already known this person your entire life and watched them fall into a river on a Tuesday, the algorithm does not care about any of this. The algorithm cares about distance and distance only. The ancient algorithm once matched someone with a person from their own tribe. Their own tribe! The person who has been sleeping 12 feet away from them in the same cave for 23 years. The person who borrowed their good flint and never returned it. The person who definitely knows about the Tuesday River incidents. The algorithm matched them. The algorithm was very pleased with this match. The algorithm considered this optimal. The match was not optimal.
Ghosting in the ancient world is literal. You walk into the forest. You do not come back. The person who was seeing you looks for you near your cave, near the watering hole, near the main trail. You are not at any of these locations. You are in the forest. The forest is enormous. You are somewhere inside it. This is ancient ghosting. It is completely effective as an avoidance strategy and completely devastating as a human experience. And in these two qualities, it has not changed even slightly in 200,000 years. The person left behind stands outside the forest for a while. They look at the forest. The forest does not explain anything. The forest is just a forest. They go home. They pick up their bark profile. They adjust the jawline. They prop it back against the rock. The first successful relationship to come from ancient Tinder begins when two ancient humans from different tribes both carry each other's bark profiles to a neutral meeting point at the same time without coordinating this in any way, because coordination would require language which does not exist. They arrive simultaneously. They are both holding each other's faces drawn on bark. They look at the bark. They look at each other.
They sit down together on a flat rock near the watering hole. They are there for a long time. They make sounds at each other. Neither knows what the other is saying. Both understand everything. The watering hole reflects the sky. The fire is going. The hyenas are a reasonable distance away. It is the same moment that has been happening between two people for the entire history of the human species, and will keep happening long after the last swipe has been swiped and the last profile has been propped against the last rock. Cut to today. Someone is lying in bed at midnight. They are swiping. Left, 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 right, left, 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 right. Their profile photo is better than they actually look because they chose the one from 3 years ago at the perfect angle and good lighting. Their bio says something that sounds effortless, but was rewritten 14 times, including 2 complete deletions and a period of time where the bio simply said, "Ask me," before they deleted that too. Their opening message took 45 minutes to write and says, "Hey." They are waiting for a reply that may or may not come from someone lying in their own bed, in their own part of the city, swiping left, left, right, left, with a profile photo from 3 years ago and a bio that was rewritten 14 times. The bark is heavier than it looks.
Nothing has changed in 200,000 years. Not one single thing. If you just watch the entire history of dating and you're still here, you are clearly someone who has been left on red and has chosen to cope by watching animated ancient human content, and Mr. Paint respects that deeply and also completely understands it. Hit subscribe because next time we are finding out what ancient humans would have done with TikTok. Spoiler, the algorithm recommends rocks. It matches you with rocks. The rocks are from your own tribe. You have seen these rocks your entire life. Subscribe before the algorithm matches you with someone who watched you fall into the river on a Tuesday.